In many countries, education is so accessible it is sometimes taken for granted, with all young people having easy access to safe schools where they learn facts and skills from qualified instructors. For the people of developing countries, such as Peru, however, education may be extremely difficult to attain. Problems such as poverty, war, lack of teachers, transportation, and unsafe facilities have kept millions of children from gaining the primary educations so crucial to the success in the modern world.
The education in Peru is often glossed over by the government and lacks funding to pay teachers and rebuild infrastructure. Peru is a rural country with many kids having to travel from 3 to 8 hours to the closest school. The closest public schools are becoming so overpopulated from rural villages that the quality of education is declining. This is causing an ever-growing education gap between public and private schools that if isn't stopped will be impossible to close. Although Peru is progressing and becoming more developed each year, the rural communities like Awajun and Wampi are being left behind. These villages are isolated and often use the river to get to town, which is often too dangerous and slow. When there is transportation available, it costs a lot of money and often sends these people into debt or causes them to make crazy negotiations.
Income per person has tripled and the tourism industry is continuously growing in Peru, but at the same time education is failing to keep up and progress. In 2012, Peru came in 65th out of 65 countries ranked educationally. In 2015, they performed 63rd out of 69 nations. But this is still an issue that isn't being solved. In the past, they have tried to improve the education by creating more private schools with better teachers, activities, and the ability to learn. But this has left behind a great portion of the country that is still in poverty and can't afford it.
In the rural areas of Peru, most of the population is uneducated. The closest schools to these villages are run down and unsafe for children, while the nicer schools are often too far to be accessible. In both of these scenarios, Peru is experiencing a lack of teachers due to the overpopulated classroom and low pay. This means that the education rates in rural villages are extremely low. A lack of education is impacting more than just the literacy statistics. It is impacting the country through many other ways, like disease. HIV and AIDS is a big problem in Peru, and many young adults are unaware of what causes AIDS until they are diagnosed. Educating these kids will reduce the amount of people infected and help rural villages get rid of these diseases. If this epidemic isn't fixed soon, Peru will fall into an unfixable health, education, and wealth gap that could have been solved with knowledge. We propose creating an easy way to get these kids to school by bringing buses and other vehicles to Peru's rural villages. This will make it safer for children to get to school and home and create a higher education rate that will begin on closing the gap in Peru's society.
We decided to make stickers in order to raise money for our issue. The stickers will cost $2.50, which is reasonable for a sticker price. We chose this price because we will receive a decent profit off each sticker purchase. We want people to buy the stickers because they will help kids gain education when they haven't been able to before. The money will go towards transportation systems like buses or bicycles to allow these students to get to the schools located in the city. These stickers are a good size and have a simple but good-looking logo that people will want to advertise on their water bottles, laptops, cars, etc.
Alberto Fujimori, the country's president from 1990 to 2000, built lots of schools, but gave no thought to education. Today, 4/5 of schools are in poor repair, obliging the government to promise to spend $100 million this year fixing them. Millions of Peruvians are struggling to receive the fundamental education many of us take for granted, whether it's due to the inability to commute to the city schools or because they are unable to afford the expensive and hard-to-find transportation from home to school. Peru is a developing country full of so much potential, and we need to help them reach it. Each sticker bought will be money towards funding transportation for the masses of young children unable to afford it and who are in need of the critical education they deserve. Buy a sticker, send a child to school.